Absolutely, it's awesome to have you on Leadership Wednesday on this 29th of May 2024. We are glad that you found time to be with us. Of course, if it is your maiden watch of this particular show, it's all about matters leadership. Of course, we know, and there is no doubt about that leadership is imperative, leadership is pertinent, and of course, we are talking about good leadership because we also have bad leadership, and therefore, on this particular show, we always endeavor to come up with ideas, to come up with the suggestions, to come up with the thoughts on how we can always improve our leadership. Of course, that will translate to the society also becoming better, our 47 counties becoming better, and as well as the entire nation. And thank you so much for finding time to be with us. Of course, I'm also having my colleague Paul Kagi. It's good to see you, Kagi. Karibu sana.
All right, thank you, Mangicho, and dear viewer, welcome to today's program, the Leadership Wednesday. Here is where we give you a heavy interpretation of leadership factors in our country. And today is a very special day in Africa, whereby all eyes are on South Africa, whereby they are planning to give us their new leader today.
Wow.
Right.
Thank you so much, Kagi, for that. And I believe in the in our general analysis, of course, we'll be able to touch on that. Just as you've said, South Africa is an integral part, of course, of this particular continent, and I know all the world and all the eyes are actually on this particular country to be in a position to see what are they going to do as far as this general election is concerned. Now, today our main focus will be on education sector. Of course, we know that education sector plays a very, very key role as far as our society is concerned. We always endeavor to ensure that we have the right education. So many things have been happening in the education sector, but particularly we want to look at the revolution that has been caused by the Tvet courses and the Tvet colleges. Now, it has been in the headlines over the recent past that various students, a very, very great percentage of students have been opting for Tvet colleges and Tvet courses compared to their counterparts. Actually, some of the students that have scored good grades that enable them to universities and undertake degree programs have actually declined those offers and opted to go for diploma courses. Now, we want to find out in this particular show today what is the revolution that is being seen in the education sector in relation to Tvet colleges and also Tvet courses. What could be that is informing this particular change? Does it have anything to do maybe with the market dynamics, the job dynamics? Is it that maybe we are seeing a change from maybe white-collar jobs to what maybe they call blue-collar jobs and so on? Of course, this is a very, very important discussion affecting millions of students across this particular country, and we'll be able to see maybe what are some of the issues that have actually informed this of trends in the society. Of course, it's a whole package. You can also get set for our very, very other segment, like the interview that we normally do on the streets with our reporter, getting the opinions of Kenyans relating to this particular discussion. We have Know Your Constituency segment that we've also planned for you. We'll be able to tell you where we are going to go today, and of course, the leadership quote will also be there. So it's a full intro, and you can look forward for a very, very captivating discussion in the Leadership Wednesday show. Of course, we are not going to leave you out. We want you to be roped in as much as possible, and you can give us your reflections, you can give us your ideas. And the question that we are asking, what do you think, or what is your take, what is your opinion on maybe a very, very large number of students opting for Tvet courses compared to university programs? What is your opinion? What do you think could be the cause of this, that majority of students are now opting for Tvet courses compared to degree programs? You can be able to tell us your opinions on the same. Catch us on our social media pages, Facebook, MBCI TV. Drop a comment or two. YouTube, we are live on MBCI TV official. And of course, for those interested in the shortcut platform, we are very, very wide open on 23814. Will hear some of your perspectives on this particular discussion. Later on, we'll be able to of your opinions on the same. But before we get into that, actually we'll be having an expert in this particular area. We interviewed an educationist who is very, very knowledgeable and well versed in this particular area, that is Madam Pasi Kihumba, also the principal Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies, and she will be giving us her perspectives on what she thinks are some of the issues that have actually resulted to this particular trend or to this particular revolution. But that is later on in this particular program. For now, as we always do, as is the norm, we get into the general analysis of some of the other items that have been making headlines across this particular 1 week. Kagi?
Yes, thank you. And of course, dear viewer, today we are having several items that we want to look at. What is happening within our country in the next, in the last maybe 1 week or so. And one of the issues that I want us to look at, because today we are handling the issue of academic, one of the issues that are in our dailies for the last 1 week is regarding to the JSS boycott for their teaching. And also yesterday the government announced that it's going to employ, in fact not to employ but to deploy 1,200 plus tutors from primary to junior secondary school. And we are very much aware that there has been a lot of disruption in our JSS category in our education system, whereby the teachers in that category boycotted their duties, demanding for a permanent and better paying by the government. And yesterday, the Teacher Service Commission, which has power to be able to employ and to deploy teachers, made an announcement that it has decided to deploy some teachers from primary school, and they are going to be, I would say, to be promoted to teach in the JSS as a method of sealing the gap which has been there in our education sector. And they have been given 14 days to be able to report in the stations through the county headquarters. And this is going to help in this area whereby many students are not getting their teachings because of the boycott by the JSS teachers who have been on contract basis. And the TSC also gave its own data on the payment of their salaries, but the best thing is that those who have applied will have only 14 days to be able to get their employment. But there's a group which is being excluded from this. Teachers with the Bachelor of Education primary option degree are excluded from this category. Only those who had done the high school category are going to be promoted or to be deployed from primary school to the, I'll call the junior secondary school in the new curriculum-based education. And the reason why the TSC is transiting these teachers from primary to the junior secondary is in line with competency-based curriculum, CBC implementations. They are the ones who have been going through the training of implementing the CBC, and therefore they are moving with the same training heading to the junior secondary school. Mm-hmm. And I believe they are going also to transit even to the high school. Yes. And therefore it's a good positive information, Magicho, whereby at least our junior secondary learners mm-hmm. are not going to be affected as it has been for the last 1 month. Absolutely. I think that is quite positive, and we want also to believe, Kagi, and hope that at least some of, or actually majority of the students who are in the JSS will be able to recover the time that they have lost now, yes. Considering that the teachers have actually been on strike since the beginning of this particular term, and I think that time is quite a lot. Bearing in mind the kind of work maybe that their colleagues maybe in the private institutions maybe have already been in a position to cover. So we want to believe that at least
with what maybe Parliament has actually offered, that they have actually allocated money in the budget that will also enable them to be recruited or actually to be absorbed on P&P terms, that is quite positive. So we want to hope that at least will be able to help them, especially considering that JSS is something that is still new. Of course, some of the students that are actually being affected are the pioneers, and to many people believe that it is actually the experimental stage of this particular system and how it is going to work. So when we have issues like maybe strike actually also coming on board, it can actually have very, very adverse effect on them. But let the TSC do what maybe it is supposed to be in a position to do, and ensure that at least we have smooth learning and smooth process in this particular area.
All right. And also we have another positive story here. Regarding to the Council of Governors, there has been a push and pull between the national government and the county governments regarding to the allocation of funds within the counties. For, I think, since last year, there has been a lot of struggle with the Council of Governors to push the government to add more resources in the counties from 380 to 420. But yesterday there has been a lot of talks between the national government and the county governments through a formation of a mediation team, which was chaired by the chairman of the budget, Honorable MP4 Kiharu, yes, Lili Nyoro, who agreed on the addition of this money to now 400 billion shillings. You know, the Senate had refused to accept any other figure except for 439 billion shillings, but the stalemate was broken yesterday after the team which was mediating the Senate, National Assembly and the Senate, who led the formation of the mediation team, agreed on 400 billion shillings as the equitable share. Yes. And the question that was lingering in my mind, Mangicho, is, there has been now an agreement of addition of more money, I think more, around 9 billion shillings to the counties. But the big question remains, how are we going to follow up on the usage of these funds? Because if you look at the Controller of Budget report, there is a lot of questions, a lot of reservations regarding to how the counties are using their money. The allegations of misappropriation, the allegations of corruption, and such kind of things, the stalling of previous projects. There has never been a good follow-up within the county governments on how they are implementing the projects. Number two, on how they are completing the previous projects. And I think that is in line with how the national funds are being used. Before, you're given some more money, whether it is in the county government, whether it is within the National Assembly through CDF, you're supposed, first of all, to prove the money allocated for the previous project is being used and the projects are complete. And therefore, there is need to make a very serious follow-up on how the counties are going to use the 400 billion shillings. And finally, there has been a lot of reports by the Controller of Budget on how there has been misappropriation, the corruption. But I have been asking myself, what are we doing with all these reports? Are they just for beautifying the shelves? We should act on the reports given by the Controller of Budget. That office is very, very important on giving us more light on how we are using our resources. But we thank the National Assembly and also Senate for bringing money to our counties. Now we want to see our counties development sprouting. Is our wish and our desire.
Absolutely, Kagi, and yeah, it's a welcome move. It's a welcome move.
Yeah.
Nobody would actually maybe be against developments actually being enhanced in our counties, because we know the essence of counties is all about devolved services and devolved functions that can actually come closer to mwananchi. That was a central theme about devolution, and of course now that we are having that particular move. We are having that particular word that now that allocation has actually gone up to 400 billion is very, very great gesture. But we have to make it, and we have to be very definite. We have to really emphasize that we have to actually see what is the accountability of such huge amounts of money in our devolved units. And Kage, I totally agree with you,
yes,
because we should even maybe go back and find out, even before we think about the 400 billion, we ask ourselves, with the previous amount, can we really be shown, can we really have the evidence that the amount of money, if it was 350 billion, if it was 300 billion, that these counties were prudent in terms of how they actually used this particular amount of money. Yeah. And if you ask me, Kage, I would have actually even recommended that the 400 billion should go to counties. We have a very, very good analysis. We have a very good criteria of finding out which are some of the counties that actually made use and very, very prudent use, utilize their funds well, utilize their location very well. At least we can be able to visit those counties and be able to see that at least this is very, very dignified development project that is in this particular country. But actually, if you ask me to go and give 400 billion to a county that the only thing that we can actually see is maybe just corruption and embezzlement of the funds that had actually been allocated previously, that would be very, very worse. So that particular move should come with very high responsible accountability of those particular funds, because at the end of the day, Kage, these are taxpayers' money and they want to get the services for which they've actually been promised. So it is good, but then it calls for very, very high levels of accountability.
Yeah, in fact, one of the reasons why the 2020 Constitution has given us devolution is to quicken development within our counties. And I wish everybody embraced this system whereby more money is being allocated within our counties and within our constituencies through the CDF. For example, if the ward is given some money, it is going to go even more deeper to the level, to the mashinani, to be able to bring more development on the ground.
Sure.
Then we come to the CDF, which has also a very good report on how they are doing to be able to do more development within the counties. And then we come to the county government. And therefore, we have a very good structure on how we can quicken our development within our counties. And the most unfortunate thing would be if the national government want to take almost maybe 80% of what they are doing to do by themselves. But they can be supported by the county governments and the constituencies to quicken the lives of our people.
And actually, Kage, there is one point that you've mentioned there, the issue of stalled projects.
Yes.
And I think it's been very bad manners by maybe succeeding county government, whereby you see there is a particular project that had actually been initiated by a previous county government management or leadership. But just maybe because that particular leadership, or for that particular matter, the governor, maybe who was not able maybe to clinch that seat again, you find that the development initiatives that they had started, a number of projects that maybe they had started, those projects are not continued. Okay, they are not carried on with the new leadership because of very, very petty reasons. And you find that now a project continues to stall for 5 years, for 10 years. What does that mean? It basically means that the kind of advantage, the kind of benefit, the kind of good that was actually to come to Mwananchi as a result of that particular project does not really come. So every succeeding government, they come up with a project and midway it stops to wait maybe for if that particular governor would clinch the seat again. So I think there needs, maybe, I don't know whether it is some policies that needs to be put into place, or maybe the law that needs actually to be checked, so that we don't see a project actually stalling because of maybe political wrangles and so on and so forth. And I think also maybe it should be very, very we need to make it very clear that if a particular government, a county government for that particular matter, begins a particular project, let's see the timelines very well. Let's say, because I know yesterday we were talking about matters to do with the procurement. So I believe this is something that goes into the procurement exercises. You cannot just begin a project and you're not sure where the funds are coming from. So I think something somewhere just goes wrong, and people should actually take responsibility, so that if a project is starting within a particular time, let's see how maybe that particular project can actually be concluded. And if not, let us see how that particular project can be continued, even in the next government, even if it is not the same leader or same governor that will actually be at the helm of the office.
And of course, as you are saying, this is within, it is in the policy of our developments projects, which is there. But I think the politicians are ignoring that policy, whereby you're not supposed to be given more money for another project when the previous project is not complete. But sometimes they ignore the policy because there's no one to be able to follow them. What should be done is to put it in law, whereby we see whether we put it in a law that everybody who is doing a project, whether it's from the previous establishment, they must complete that project at this juncture.
Absolutely. Kagi, there was another interesting story that I saw about counties, and this one was actually coming from the National Integration and Cohesion Commission, NCIC, whereby they are proposing that we have, I think, around 10 counties where they need, they are asking that the names of those counties should actually be changed to ensure that I think something maybe to do with cohesiveness and maybe the issue and maybe the efforts to try to do away with negative ethnicity and tribalism. So we have those counties like Kisii, we have, I think, Meru, we have Nandi, we have Turkana. I think I saw something to do with the West Pokot. I think those counties that have the names of maybe the major community. So they want those names to be done away with. So I was
those
like,
ethnic names.
So I don't know which names are going to come to those particular counties. Seeing maybe a county like Meru, I don't know which name it is going to be given. Kisii, which name is going to be given. But then I was also maybe wondering if maybe how much can that maybe do in terms of actually ensuring that we have enhanced cohesion.
Yeah, question is very, very important. But I think now it is going to be more politicized when it comes to deciding on changing the names of the counties. But of course, there has been also another policy which was there, that no county is supposed to employ a certain percentage of people from the same ethnicity within that county. But if you go to our counties again, you realize that the 90% of people who are working within that county come from a specific ethnic composition, which I think is against the National Integration Commission.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, I think that is something that needs actually to be looked into. My director is telling me that you can take a short break, but of course we are going to come back. I think there was also the issue of the university vice chancellors.
Yes.
They met the president yesterday. They talked about a raft of issues. I think we'll talk about that even as we get into the details of our discussion today. Of course, focusing on matters education sector and the Tvet revolution. That is later on in this particular program. Remember, you can still continue to give us your reflections and your perspectives. Our discussion today is all about the Tvet revolution. We are asking, what is your take on maybe the larger number of students that are opting for Tvet courses in relation maybe to their degree programs? What do you think could be the trigger of this, or maybe could be the cause of this? Feel free to share your sentiments with us on 23814 and also on our social media pages, Facebook MBCI TV and YouTube MBCI TV official. When we come back, we also have our reporter who went to the streets and got a few comments and a few opinions from Kenyans. We'll get to hear what they also think about this particular subject. That is after this short breather.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo katika uchumi wa kitaifa. Akili Shambani inakufunza mbinu mbalimbali za kilimo cha mimea na ufugaji. Tunavuka milima na mabonde kukuelimisha mengi kuhusu ubunifu na teknolojia katika kilimo. Yote 9, 10 ni masoko. Nayo je?
Tunahusika na mkulima kutoka kwa shamba hadi sokoni.
Fahamu haya na mengine mengi kuhusu kilimo kwenye Akili Shambani kila Jumatano saa 1:30 usiku, ukiletewa nami Enaeli Mlinga.
Baba ya Abraham kwa Biblia alikuwa anaitwa nani?
Baba ya Abraham? Joseph. Joseph.
Nataka kuambia mtu kwa Kizungu, nimeshtukia nimefika. Utamwambia je kwa Kizungu?
Gai neda kinya.
Hebu rudia kidogo.
Gai neda kinya.
Asio hizo ndo gani sasa? Najua
SUV inamaanisha nini?
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
United States Vehicle.
What did I hear?
United States Vehicle.
Nipatie spelling ya neno oesophagus.
E-O-U-S-E-G-O-U-R.
rudia tena.
E-O-U-S-G-E-U-G-E-O-U-S.
My name is Lucy Maina, CEO, Lyle Safaris. Okay, I did mass communication and journalism back in JQuat.
Yes.
So I have zero background on tours. But because I've been so passionate, I have had to attend some classes from industry experts.
Yeah.
And also sign up for online classes.
Wow.
We do inbound and outbound.
Yeah.
Inbound, that is clients who are coming in. Outbound is clients who are going out. And then I travel quite a lot. So I've been to Zanzibar severally.
Wow.
So when I go there, I don't really go for holiday. I also go for business.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Welcome back, and of course you're still watching us right here on Leadership Wednesday program on MBCI TV. Now today's matters education. Education is very pertinent. It's actually an integral part as far as the prosperity and excellence of our nation is concerned. Therefore, it needs to be given a very, very, very major emphasis in our national discourse. And that is why today we are looking at this particular area of the Tvet revolution, and of course is a very, very major and a very, very major significance, major issue as far as our country and even our society is concerned. Of course, Kage, I know we are going to have some vox pops.
Yes.
I mean, some interviews that our reporter did. We're going to have them shortly also to find out what do students think, what do Kenyans think about these shifting trends. But before that, there was that particular discussion on the president also meeting the vice chancellors.
Yes.
Yesterday,
and one of the meeting was to be able to help on how to arrest the situation because of the changing trends within our education sector. I don't think there is a problem with our universities per se, the education university. What is need to be done is to have a paradigm shift on what is happening globally. Because even if you look at the establishment of our universities, they were more based on white-collar job. If you could remember from the word go, it was geared towards providing a white-collar jobs, and which were very much available globally. But if you look at the way things are happening right now, it is not easy to get a white-collar job. And for those who are having the skill-based trainings, are more advantaged more than anybody else. Number one is because they can employ themselves. That is the main agenda, which is not provided on the higher learning institutions. And if for those who are going for overseas opportunities, those who are getting an upper hand are the ones who are having some skills. You can be able also to do any job. And therefore, what happened yesterday between the president and the vice chancellors is to look for a way also to help our learners. For example, there are some universities which are providing courses which are not marketable. They're out of the market, but they are still providing them to our learners. And that is too unfortunate because the professors are very much aware whatever they are teaching in the institutions are not going to open opportunities for the learners. And the president was very bold, together with the team, to agree that the programs that are unattractive to students to be identified and to be scrapped, and some to be merged. In fact, there was a proposal also that some of the courses are going to be moved from some universities. You know, there are some specific institutions which specialize within on some courses. So if you don't specialize in specific courses, then they are going to be domiciled within a specific university. You see that? Yeah, because also in some universities are in business. All right?
Sure.
And therefore they are offering courses just to make money.
And I think it's a welcome move again, because if you see, we cannot actually bury our head in the sand and fail to appreciate that, of course, we are in a world that is evolving every day. And there are things that used to be very important. There are things maybe that used to be of major value 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But today, they are not of value. We cannot actually just assume that particular fact. We know technology is here with us. There are some machines that we used to have 10 years ago, but today we cannot find them in the market. So we have a conversation like this. I know it's going to be quite maybe uncomfortable. Even maybe for those maybe who are lecturers of these particular courses. But we just have to see a way in which maybe we can do so that, because when you're talking about education, it's all about imparting knowledge. And we want this person that has gone through university to come back to the society and also be of value, to add value. So if we have someone maybe being trained in a course, only maybe not to fit in the modern society, it becomes very unfortunate, both to themselves and even to the society at large. Yes.
Yeah, and of course the main agenda is to help our learners.
Absolutely.
We don't waste the parents' money and also their time in the college.
In the college.
Yeah.
That's very true. And later on we'll be back with that particular area and many more. But for now, our reporter, that is Silas Cheminingo, went to the streets, found quite a number of students, and found out from them what do they think about the Tvet revolution. Majority of them may be opting for Tvet courses in relation to degree programs. Let's have their thoughts and see what they think about this particular matter.
Well, Paul and Mola, we have come into the streets to come and understand the perspective in which some of the decisions have been made by many students. Remember, there has been placements of recent students who had just finished their Form 4 studies, and many chose to go for diploma programs rather than degree programs. And these decisions are so astonishing, given it is historical that many students and many other students have been preferring for many years and many decades to go for degree programs. And this has forced us to come into the streets so that we can understand what makes one make such kind of decisions, what are the influences behind such kind of decisions. And today we have come into the streets to ask citizens directly, and even students directly, why they have started preferring diploma programs over degree programs and other higher level studies. And also another issue is, remember, they have also preferred even to go for Tvet rather than universities. So let's get the opinions. Many students have decided to go for diploma programs in Tvet institutions rather than degree programs and other programs that are of higher level on universities. Well, asante sana kuongea na MBCI TV. Leo tumekuja hapa na tunauliza swali rahisi tu. Kwa nini wanafunzi wengi wameanza kupendelea kusomea diploma courses rather than stashahada ama degree programs, na kwa nini pia wanafunzi wengi wamependelea hata Tvet institutions rather than university institutions?
Okay, I think just ingine it's life ingine vile the way we see the technology, and then the economy inaendelea ikichange in this sana in this our country, maybe and others. So like first thing you meet maybe pale the high school, so maybe unafanya exam, maybe first situation maybe ukaslide kidogo, so ukajikuta maybe affordable to this diploma kulingana na grades. So that's the first thing, maybe inakukose, maybe ulikuwa upende uende degree, but since situation of this the grading system, so unajikuta uko side ya diploma. So that's why maybe unakuta saa ingine maybe we attain diplomas so for the next level, but maybe sometimes unakuta mwingine maybe anaweza afford kwenda kufanya degree, but since this life situations, so unakuta like maybe unakuta mtu sometimes anaona tu applications za jobs period of time, so like unajaribu kushorten since maybe institution, there's a organization also, unakuta maybe mostly zina apply jobs job opportunity to the diplomas.
Yeah, pia timing ya kusoma, like diploma na take to 3 years at most, but for degree nanzia from 4 years to 5 years, which inakuwa tiresome for some people. Wanaona like itamchukua time mob, maybe anataka amalize haraka, naweza enda practice hiyo course yake nje.
Okay, according to me, mimi naweza sema ni juu diploma courses take short period of time than the degree courses. It takes short period of time to accomplish, and again hata saizi ukiangalia kwa market when people are being employed, kuna a lot of competition between the students when you pursue degree courses na diploma courses. The competition is stiff because wanaangalia the Tvet, when wanafanya Tvet wanafanya NEC exams, when wako campus, so universities wanafanya internal exams. Okay, according to me, I will say it depends on the individual level. I won't say when wako Tvet wako na skills than when wako universities, because me I will go for those in universities. I just feel that their knowledge is upper. I'll give their knowledge an upper hand than those in Tvet. Yeah, that is according to me. Not really. Universities they take a long period of time to study, and also they have like their studies are a little bit hard as compared to those in Tvet. That is according to me also.
Doing diploma in electrical and electronics engineering. Kitu cha kwanza nitasema diploma is best than a degree, kwa sababu kitu cha kwanza tukiangalia time ya diploma ni shorter. Hiyo ni advantage moja. Another thing is that diploma you are equipped with the technical. Unajua vizuri hapa Kenya saa hii tunaangalia technical, vitu za kufanya na mikono. So kama mimi venye nafanya electrical engineering, najua nikitoka hapa nje si lazima niajiriwe. I can do, naweza hata anzisha tu biashara yangu. I can do wiring and so on. So kwa hiyo naweza sema diploma is good than a degree. Diploma iko cheap compared to a degree. Yeah.
Maybe kinaweza sema kuhusu hilo swali ni as for the world we are living today, ni ati watu wanachangamka sana na kosi ya mikono than kosi yenye msee amebeba kwa akili. Kwa sababu hakuna venye mimi nilikuwa nafanya human nutrition, but nikapause kwanza, nikaenda kuchukua course hapo kwa Polytechnic, nikafanya catering hapo, na as for now hiyo catering inanilipa. So ikilinganishwa na ile course yenye nilikuwa nafanya, ili take time, nilidefer nikiwa third year, nikakuja kufanya hiyo course ya mikono, na nimetembea huko attachments nini, na tunapatana na wase wa universities wengine, but unakuja kurealize ile ujuzi yenye uko nayo kwa mikono na yenye yeye anatoa kwa akili ni two different things. So wanafunzi wengi wanaiprefer Tvet kwa sababu once umetoka kwa masomo ukuje kwa industry, kampuni zitaweza kurealize skills zako haraka. Once utaambiwa, hata ukienda interview ulizwe ufanye jambo fulani, itakuwa virahisi wewe kufanya juu mikono ishazoea than ule msee wa degree anaulizwa analeta papers. Universities zimekuwa so costly. Rate yenye wanafunzi wanaingia university saizi na ile ya before ni tofauti sana. Saizi percentage ya wanafunzi wanaenda colleges na zile Tvet ni iko higher than pale university.
Nafanya course saizi ya supply chain management diploma. Reason kubwa I think most students wamechagua diploma over degree. Kwanza kitu ya kwanza ni diploma iko na those opportunities. Mtu akitoka shule ako sure kama ni technical amejifunza, anaweza kuwa amejifunza maybe engineering course, maybe amejifunza kama mimi niko upande wa supply chain management. So ako sure like akitoka hapa nje atatafuta for white collar job, and like degree lazima maybe anataka nampea domob, kazi inampea pesa mingi, but for diploma yeye akitoka hapa nje anajua alifanya technical, so anaweza practice hiyo kitu amejifunza. Like engineering mtu anaweza toka uende ufungue shop for electronics, unaweza anza kama fundi wa simu hivyo kidogo kidogo. So I think degree mostly ina deal na watu wanataka white collar jobs. I think the big reason.
Well, Mangicho and Paul, it is what it is. You've heard it from the horse's mouth. They have said, let's call a spade, and let's call a spoon. My name is Silas Cheminingwa. Back to you in the studios.
Thank you so much, Silas Cheminingwa. They're interacting with our students and getting to find out their perspectives on this particular discussion. And I think, Kagi, if I've heard them well, some of the points that those that have been interviewed by Cheminingwa have actually talked about is what we were discussing earlier. They've talked about the shifting trends in terms of the job, the market dynamics.
Yes.
So they are saying, of course, if I do this diploma in engineering, once I am done with it, I really don't have to get to be employed.
Yes.
I'll find out how I can actually be self-employed. Yeah.
And there's a positive things that I'm hearing from the young people, that they can now understand the way employment is today.
Yes.
That they are not so much glued towards the...
So the mindset has really shifted, which is very good.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's very good that you can now weigh yourself where you want to go. If you want to go looking for a job, well and good. But you can see most of them are really thinking hard on how you can be self-employed. And there was one aspect that's very interesting. I had never thought about it, how a degree course is very costly. It is opting some of them
go for diploma, by the way.
Go for diploma because of the cost of that certificate, right? So you compare, maybe it is triple, and you have maybe, for example, if you go to many Tvet institutions, they are charging an average of 20,000 per semester. If you go to many universities, they are charging between 60 going upwards.
Sure. And that's why there's always been that particular claim in the country of making education to be affordable. So maybe quite a number of students are feeling they're locked out because of the cost.
And you see, the other day the government scrapped the provisions of money for students. Funding the universities. It is scrapped. So it has really challenged many young people.
Exactly.
And also the issue of the short duration for training on a Tvet diploma certificate is very short. And it's also very interesting to see many don't want to go to be in school for a long time.
Exactly.
They just want to be there for a very short time and finish their training as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Exactly. And of course, without further ado, just as we had promised in this particular show, Kagi, we were able to interview an educationist, Madam Pasiki Hiombo. Is also the principal, Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies, to also give us our perspectives on what she he thinks about this Tvet revolution. And my director is telling me this interview is ready. We can have a look at it even as we come back with the other part of this particular show. Well, thank you so much, and we appreciate that you're still with us on the Leadership Wednesday show. Now, just as we had mentioned, over the recent weeks, we have been able to see the news about Tvet colleges and how they have actually taken strides and also giving university graduates a run for their money in terms of job opportunities. Now, we want to find out what are some of the revolution that we are seeing in this particular sector and what you need to know, what you need to understand, maybe as a parent and also maybe as an aspiring student who wants maybe to do a particular course in a college, so that at least you can be in a position to make a wise decision and also make a wise choice. And today, just as we had promised, we have a guest who is also an expert as far as this particular field is concerned. Is an educationist and also the principal, Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies, Madam Kihumba, to be here to help us get some perspectives on this very, very important aspect in our education sector. We are also not leaving you out. You can share with us your thoughts. Do you think that Tvet colleges have the mandate and also have the opportunity to ensure that we have a turnaround in our economy and also in our society? You can share with us your views on our social media pages, that is MBCI TV for Facebook and also YouTube, that is MBCI TV official. We'll be able to also see what you think and what your perspectives are on this particular matter. This particular juncture, we have the pleasure to introduce our guest for this particular discussion, Madam Kihumba. Karibu sana. Good to have you again.
Thank you so much, Magicho. It's always a pleasure to be with MBCI.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you thinking about us having this discussion.
Wow.
And even the fact that you thought that you should bring it on the ground at the Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies, I truly do appreciate.
Thank you.
Ndio tuone mambo kwa ground, tuongee tukiona vile mambo kwa ground.
Tujue mambo iko namna gani kwa ground.
Kabisa.
Asante,
Welcome so much.
Thank you, and we do appreciate even the work that you are doing. And just as you've mentioned, because I know this is a conversation that has been taking place, but it is like it is still continuing to gain a lot of weight year in, year out, even as we continue. And of course, now in the recent past, we have seen those headlines, we've seen those stories in the media, especially even in the newspapers, about Tvet colleges and the kind of weight they are actually getting. So when you see this kind of information and the way it is being given this weight and this significance, what is your perspective?
For me, as a principal in this space, the technical and vocational training, I am so excited about it. Because what you're doing is demystifying a myth that has been. You know, there before there has been that myth that technical and vocational training is for those that have not passed an exam.
Yes.
And therefore, people have been thinking of, have felt that this is not the right kind of training to undertake. But now, with the weight that it is being given, I'm so excited. It becomes easy to sell this space, the technical and vocational training space. It is a realization that without the technical and vocational training, without the hands-on skills, with the human resources of a country, the country cannot grow. No? So when I'm glad that there is that talk, I'm glad that this is the discussion now, so that our country can be able to train a human force that is going to bring the development of this nation. For a long time, we have been talking about Kenya as a developing country. For a long time. It has taken a long time for us to be called a developed country. But when we have the technical and vocational training taking place, when our human resources have been given the skill sets, the hands-on skill sets, then this is going to be called, is slowly being transformed into a developed country.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. And just as you've put it, when you look at a country like Kenya, and just as you're saying, we are regarded as developing countries, of course, with other nations, and we know there are those countries that are already developed.
Yes.
If you could compare maybe what it is that they have been able to do, even in terms of their training, are you confident, are you of the idea that maybe this is what we've been lacking in the past?
This is what we have been lacking in the past. Let me tell you, when you talk about the technical and vocational training colleges, it is only now that the government of Kenya and African states have come to realize the importance of training technical and vocational courses. But go abroad, in other countries, talk about China, where this technical and vocational training starts all the way from nursery school. Theater college, nursery school. Even before that child is able to write their name, they already have some skill set. You know, they already have some skill set. Go to countries like the US, those developed countries. They are developed because they also do a lot of what you are calling industrialization.
Sure.
For this industrialization to take place, we must have manpower. We must have people who are hands-on, people who can be able to run those machines, people who can be able to produce those products in the industry. And this is not a person who is seated at the managerial level at a desk, on a desk, because the education sector for a long time, they dwell so much in producing managers, but managers to do what?
That's the question.
Managers to do what?
Yes.
What a developing country needs is the human resource with the skills to work in those industries, so that you can be able to be industrialized.
Okay.
You know, so we are now at the right trajectory.
Yeah.
That emphasis in hands-on skill, because our roads need to be done by the human populace in our country, not us importing labor all the way from China to come and build our roads, not us importing labor to come and build our houses and the railway. Yet every other day we keep on talking about unemployment, you know, and while we are giving this employment to people outside. Why? Because the children, the students, the human resource that we are developing does not have the skills to do a lot of work that is in the country.
Wow.
Yes.
And of course, Madam Principal, this one also in relation, because we also know as a society, and of course there has been that perception that maybe has affected us, because initially or for a very long time, most people, parents and even maybe the students, one would be regarded as maybe having really made some steps in life if they accessed or if they gotten or they obtained that university degree or that university certificate. But then maybe it seems it must have been quite unfortunate, because maybe even after that degree there was still little to show even for this particular person. Do you think we've reached now that particular point where we now have to appreciate that even those who have actually qualified from Tvet colleges, they can actually make meaning in life?
Let me tell you, today, as many industries, they would want to employ somebody who has gone through technical and vocational training colleges, because they have more hands-on skills than theoretical. Now, you know, we are talking with you, and I have had the advantage of being a lecturer in the university, so I know I know what I'm talking about. And now that I'm the technical and vocational space, I can speak with authority that when you talk about the technical and vocational training colleges, they have the hands-on skills. When you employ that chef, it is a chef. We do 70% of what we train on is practical. It is only about 30% that is theoretical. So if you're looking for a chef, look for a chef in a technical and vocational training college. I've been in that university setup where practicals, you know, we teach more of theory, we teach more of management than the practical skills. And therefore, actually, I think it was on Monday that we were having a discussion, and you're thinking, like, if you have for example, a diplomate from a university and a diplomate in a technical vocation, I wouldn't even look for the diplomate in there. I wouldn't bother employing. If I have a chef who has somebody who has trained, for example, hospitality in a university, and I get one who has got a diploma from a technical and vocational training college, I would choose the diplomate because I know what I'm going for, the skill sets. But if you are looking for the manager, you can. But how many managerial positions do we have in our country? We have more of hands-on work than managerial positions.
Wow, that's a very good way. And of course, we also know that we have the introduction of CBC, and we are talking about these particular skills. What does it require, or at what particular level do you think we prepare our society, in this particular case our students, our pupils? Is it now at the Tvet level for them now to begin to understand and begin to know, to realize the skills that they have, or they can actually even be helped by the revolution and the incoming of CBC?
No, you know, the CBC, the way it's formulated, our students today, our children today are being trained or guided towards their career paths through the CBC process.
Right.
Now, when the students get into year 8, and I think year 9 and year 10, they start specializing, right? They start specializing. You know, there before you are doing all the subjects that they are in the curriculum. But when they get to those years, I think 8, 9, 10, they start specializing. You can either do social sciences, right? You could also do applied sciences, and also you have the option of going to what you're calling technology and engineering. You see? So they have started specializing at that point, so that the person who is now in grade 9 and 10, and they want to become engineers, the subject of choice, they are going to be doing that which is called technology and engineering. Ataanza electrical engineering akiwa primary uko secondary school. So by the time they are exiting the secondary school, they already know that I'm going to the field, I'm going to a technical institute to do engineering.
Sure.
So we are also seeing a situation whereby, you know, right now we have some students who wonder, what career choice do I pick?
Sure.
By the time those students, by the time the CBC students are going to be getting out of the junior secondary, there's somebody who already knows that I'm going to do that course. As happens with the international, for example, the IGCSE student, IGCSE system, that as a student, anaanza kama yeye anataka kuwa a doctor, they start specializing in the subjects that are going to read them there. Not doing home science, they are agriculture daktari.
So they don't have to do the other subjects.
They don't have to do the special.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have
to. So the CBC is God sent, and now also to prepare that at the technical and vocational training colleges, the CBC changes have now come. Right now, the students that we admitted last term and this term, they are doing CBC. The curriculum has also changed within the technical and vocational training spaces. So instead of doing theoretical, there are a lot of theory that other curriculums provide. Now the TVETA, the Technical Vocational Training Authority, TVETA, the one that regulates the curriculum within the technical and vocational training space, they have now introduced to us what you're calling CBET. Competence-based education and training. Ni CBC.
CBC now
ni CBC
at college level.
So mwanafunzi mwenye atatoka on the other side kama amefanya CBC, anaingia tu hapa. It's coming a time when we shall not be looking like, unajua hata grading system inaenda ikifade. Si ni kweli? Pale hatutakuwa tukiangalia C ama E for excellence, nakwambiaga ni E for excellence. Sasa tutakuwa kusema ulikuwa unasoma nini, cluster subjects yako ilikuwa ni ya technical space. Nakuja tunakuingiza engineering. And you flow like that.
And you flow like that.
Yeah.
That is quite interesting.
Yeah.
And we are also looking at the place of infrastructure. Of course, now that these students are supposed now to be hands-on. When it comes to infrastructure, maybe what kind of investment are we looking at?
Quite massive infrastructure. Because if you are talking of that student, for example, being an automotive engineer, you must have, for example, the simulation engines. We must buy cars. I think when you got in, you saw a car. We just acquired it. And you know, tunanunua wanatengeneza, zingine wanatoa board, wana paint. So it's massive infrastructure. If you go to, for example, our kitchen in hospitality, you will find a full restaurant. We have a kitchen, hot kitchen, we have a baking section, and we have a restaurant. Because huyu mwanafunzi anapofanya hospitality, they must learn how to cook, they must learn how to bake, they must learn how to serve. There is even a barista machine there, the coffee making machine, the expensive machine.
So they have to interact.
They have to interact with those things. So it's a heavy investment in terms of our workshops and our laboratory. Because for how are these students going to get hands-on skills if we do not provide those facilities? And I know we have had this talk before Magicho, where I've said, if you are interested, if you have to take a student to college to pursue a particular course, don't just visit the reception desk. Be a wise parent, be a wise student. Walk around. Kama unataka kufanya electrical engineer, wewe useme hiyo electrical engineering nitakuwa nikifanyia wapi? Do they have the facilities? Kama wewe unataka kusomea cosmetology, hair dressing for example, why are you going to be doing that? You want to study massage. Do they have the massage equipment? You want to study journalism and mass media. Do they have a studio? Do you have a radio studio? Ama watakuwa kisomea. You know, I've been in this Nakuru for a long time, and I have had enough. I know of institutions that teach hospitality theory.
And which, Madam Principal, just as you're saying, is very, very critical, because the employer there who is waiting for you wants to really find out what is it that you can do.
That is it. And you saw also another thing that we are doing at the CBET is what you are calling duo training. Duo training is where we do some training in school, in our workshops, but it also comes a time we have MOUs and collaborations with the other industry, so that those students, they go and learn there in the industry, qua ground, so that they can be able to understand what this means. You know, for example, students, for example, in hospital. Let me use hospitality. Like on Saturday, I had students in Sarova Woodlands. From our institution. So whatever they have learnt in our restaurants here, they go and practice it in the now real setup, in the field, so that they can be able to understand what that means. So that even as we send them to the employer, you know, we send them to the employer, they have the skills, they have the expertise that they require. That you as a Magicho seated there in MBCI, if I have given you a photography student, you are not teaching them how to hold a camera. They already know.
They come when they are
this
good.
This is a person you send to the field.
Go
take
and
photos,
they bring you the results.
Bring for me.
Sure. Wow.
Go outside there, collect news, bring me edit. And we even have a editing suit. Go edit and bring and see what you have been able to do. Yes.
Wow, that is quite encouraging. And of course, still in relation to that, these particular the Tvet courses and the curriculum has also been hailed because of the opportunity that it can also give the products or those who have actually acquired this particular system, other than just maybe getting or maybe going to be employed. There is a way in which maybe they can also be helped, or they can actually have the opportunity to be self-employed.
Yes, actually in our training, as we are training them, we are not training employees. we are training employers.
Okay.
Go employ yourself and employ others because they have the capability. No, you train you to give you a skill set to go and self-employ yourself. You can be able to make that website. You can be able to do that graphic design. In that sense, you have employed yourself. And slowly but surely, you're also going to employ others. You see? So this, and we also try as much. For example, giving an example with our cosmetology department, those students, even while they are training, they earn money.
Wow.
Because once they have been taught, for example, braiding, there comes a time when those students are told, go outside there and bring a client. Ukuje mtengeneze well in the lab. So when they have done that, they earn. The client pays for it. Yeah, and I wish sometimes
well,
you
they're
can
still
come,
in college.
Yeah, I wish you can come sometimes in the morning and you would wonder what is happening at Biashara Center there. Everybody is asking, is there barbering today? Is there hair braiding today?
Yeah,
because they want to be those services from the students.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Looking now, because we are also in a global setup, and of course, other than just maybe the opportunities that we can have locally, what do you think some of these or this kind of establishment, this kind of system can also prepare students maybe also to have opportunities overseas?
And fortunately, at the Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies, we have been able to train students who are working abroad. Okay. Particularly for, in the hospitality industry, in the engineering industry, in plumbing, we have been able to do that. In cosmetology, we have been able to do that. So that those skill sets that they are having, they are not only usable within the local, within the national market. They can also be applied in their international space. Okay. And they are more, and some of these skills, for example, barista, that coffee making, and mixology. The labor market is small in the UAE. Okay. And we have quite a number of our students in Dubai. Okay. So whatever we are preparing our students for is not only to be consumed locally, but also internationally. And we are saying we really are happy that we have our students who are outside there and who are our ambassadors outside there.
Wow. Yeah. Now, as we move and even maybe begin to see how the society will be appreciating this particular system, of course, I know maybe we have students who normally come to ask, or maybe some of them, they are even very new. They want to find out what is it that maybe they can be able to do. How do you think maybe as an educationist they are supposed to be helped?
Now, basically, by law or by requirement, every high school should have what we call an office we call the career advisory office that needs to guide those students on their careers. And we appreciate the fact that while in high school, not many really are concerned about that. You're not really concerned about that until you hit that gate, the secondary, outside the second gate, and then you realize, and I'm outside here and I don't know what I want to become. And most of them, that's what we used to say in nursery school is no longer applicable. Okay. So at the Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies, we have a guidance and a career guidance office, and I am in charge together with the registrar. So, and when a student walks and a parent walks in that gate, and they are wondering what course their student is going to take, or there are some scenarios the student knows what they want to do, but there is a parent here who is saying, utafanya hiyo utafanya. So there we have to get in and do career guidance. And as we do career guidance, some of the aspects that we want to ask, we ask some questions. Number one, what are your passions? Because when you talk about a profession or a career, this is something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. If you're going to be in this earth for 40 years, it is what you're going to do every day, 365 times 40 years. So it is only right to do something that you are happy doing for the rest of your life. So you want to know what is this that is your passion. You want to know what is it that your God-given abilities. Kuna watu, they have never gone for any training. Lakini kumwambia suke nywele, it's so easy. So if this some person comes to do cosmetology, it becomes very, very easy for them to do it. Then there is also what we call academic endowment. For example, if you will not say that I want to do a diploma in engineering, na hesabu kabisa hukuelewa.
Exactly.
Na kwa sababu ukiingia darasa ya engineering, utapatana na statistics pale. Utapatana na vectors na matrix pale. You see? So we also want to check their academic endowment. Another thing that we want to advise on is the available jobs. Ukishafanya hiyo course, utafanya nini na hiyo course utafanya nini na hiyo course. So those are things that we interrogate, and not that we do not tell them that now you will do this course. Unampatia information. From that information, and I make a choice. The only thing you can be able to do is recommend, but you don't have to do that. It's your career, it's your life, is a choice that you have to make. A choice that is going to make you happy. So we do what we are calling career guidance.
As we come to the close, Madam Principal, still in relation to that, to those who maybe sometimes have done Form 4, there is a particular grade maybe they score. We know initially there was even that stigma that maybe you did not score a particular grade, and therefore it's like maybe the society would maybe view you maybe or perceive you as a failure. But is it different now for Tvet that you really don't have to be frustrated?
Yeah. The Tvet space is very interesting because it is open for everyone. To the one who got A in the Kenyan academic system, najua abroad wanasemaga A asterisks. To the one who has an A asterisks, to including the one who did not, akafika Form 4, akapata hiyo grade yenye tunasemaga E for excellence, alijaribu sana. That person, in spite of the challenges that they may have encountered academically, they did not drop. They remained in school and they scored that grade E. There's also this other one who dropped out of school in Form 1, Form 2, ama hata mwenye hakufika, ali drop out of school, hata hakufika hata secondary school. The Tvet space has a course for you. The curriculum inaenda as low as level 3. Huyu mwenye curriculum ya level 3 ni ya mtu ambaye less than class 8. Atakuja asome na akipita tunamweka sasa anaingia what you are calling level 4. Akipita aende level 5. Na level 5 ni certificate. Akipita ataenda level 6 ambayo ni diploma. Akimaliza diploma, they may have started level 3. Akifika diploma, those students qualify to pursue a degree. So the journey may be longer, but the dream can be accomplished.
Wow. What do you think therefore the governments need to do? Because now there has been that talk that some of the, and to a good number, the courses, the programs that have been offered in the university, they're actually meant for Tvet colleges, and it's like maybe those who are going to get them in the universities, they are getting raw deal.
Yeah, so I see that the government there has been that debate on the space that the university should cease offering certificate and diploma. Now, what I would say is, my word still stands. If you want hands-on skills, because I've told you I've been in that space, in the university where we offer certificates and diplomas. If you want to be to get the right skills, hands-on skills, and these are the skill sets that can either make you self-employed or employed, but better still, we want you to self-employ yourself and employ others. Look for a technical and vocational training college. 70% of their curriculum is hands-on. Wow. 70%. And then again, you are talking that you're going to do a national exam, not an internal exam. You know, in the universities is an internal exam. And you're going to get an external exam. And when you, for example, you do an external exam by NEC, by CDAC, by NITA, internationally acceptability, you don't really to have to do a lot of equation or equation, you see. And like when you have done an internal
exams. Wow, we appreciate you're pressed for time, but thank you so much, Madam Pasiki Humba, an educationist and also Chief Principal, Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine. Always welcome at to have this discussion, and always welcome at the Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies. Next time we should do envision. Now I'm talking about the workshops.
Yeah.
The next time we should have a walk around and see, so that you can be able to showcase
exactly
what we are talking about.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And of course, such a candid discussion on the state of education, even as we look at the place of Tvet colleges in ensuring the turnaround of the country's economy. See you on the next round. Yes.
Allow me, please. May intake is ongoing. Our May intake starts on 29th. Welcome at the Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies, and we are going to assure you are going to get the skill sets, the right skill sets. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Okay, of course, we'll see you on the other part with my colleague Paul Kagi. Stay tuned.
All right, and thank you so much, my colleague Mangichomola, for that insightful interview with Madam Pasiki Humba, Principal RVIPS, and for discussing more on you're calling it the revolution of Tvet institutions. I love the word revolution. You know, when the revolution comes, it is unstoppable.
Yeah.
And she has really talked about some rich insights on what she understands about it. And one of them is that this is the right way to push for industrialization in our country.
Absolutely.
For a country to develop, it must be industrialized.
Exactly.
And one way of making that we achieve this is by empowering this revolution, which is being embraced by both the trainers, the ministry, the government, and even our learners. And I feel that there has been a deliberate move by the government to be able to align what we are calling the CBC from the ground, because many people have been asking, if you are bringing on the new system of education in the name of CBC, how is it going to align itself with the institutions of higher learning? And what is happening in the institution of higher learning, especially for the Tvet colleges, is a sort of a CBT format, whereby those who are coming from the lower cadre of education, the CBC, are going to merge somewhere when they get to the institutions of higher learning. So it's the whole process which is being monitored by the government itself on how, at the end of the day, it is going to achieve a very, very big agenda on maybe to bring changes in our education system.
Exactly. I totally agree with you, Kagi. And just as you've said, just as she puts it, it's that I think this is a model that will help each and everyone to be useful in the society, so that you don't just end up getting into the entire education system only maybe for you to go back to the society and not maybe have any significance. So I think you are prepared well in terms of maybe the passion that you need to have, the passion that you have incorporated with the skills that are very, very important for you. And of course now with what the market is expecting you to deliver.
And maybe a small point here, the government, because it is the sole sponsor of this program, should have enough resources to make this program to succeed. If it is being embraced by the learners, then the government has a big role ensuring there's enough money for this. You know, you remember the time of 844 system. It was somehow like this one, but along the way it was stolen by some selfish guys. They diverted the whole idea.
Exactly.
And therefore we have to be very careful that we don't lose again. The track.
Absolutely. Yeah, because we are almost coming to the end of the program. I think at this particular juncture we can have that particular segment. We call it Know Your Constituency. On the request of one of our cameramen, Kagi, man to talk. After the request that you take to take this particular segment all the way to his constituency, that is in Nandi, where we find Aldai constituency. Let's see how his constituency looks like, and of course be in a position to give the analysis also afterwards. So today we are focusing on Aldai constituency, and we are saying that Aldai constituency is one of the constituencies in Nandi County, first established for the 1966 general elections. The current member of parliament for Aldai constituency is Honorable Marian Jebet Kitani. That is the MP for Aldai constituency. We have previous members of parliament, of course, quite a number, Kagi. 1966, it's quite an old constituency because we had John K. Churiot. Come 1969, we had Simeon Kiptum Arap Choge. 1974, Simeon Kiptum Arap Choge once again. 1979, Samuel Kibiebei Arap Ngeny. 1983, Samuel Kibiebei Arap Ngeny. And then in 1988, we had John Kiplagat Cheriot. Then come 1992, we had John Paul Titi. Then in 1997, Simeon Kiptum Choge. Then come 2002, we had Jimmy Choge. And then 2007, Dr. Sally Kosgei, of course, a very, very famous name. Then 2013, we had Corneli Serem. He clinched the seat again in 2017, but was ousted in 2022 by the current member of parliament for Aldai, that is Marian Kitani. That is the current member of parliament for Aldai constituency. Now, of course, we have a few words there. I think, let's see, the main economic activity. They do agriculture, maize, bean, sorghum, millet and Irish potatoes. We also have mining. We also have limestones and gemstones. Those are some of the mining, some of the main activities that we have in Aldai constituency, Kagi. So you see, it's quite fertile. It's quite an agricultural area.
Yes, I can see.
Yeah.
And I'm really, it's really interesting to see that there is there's a mining in that place.
Yes.
You see this guy to bring us some some stones from.
Yeah, we have to find out, or maybe he has quite a number.
Yeah, we never know. That's why he shines all the day. And I've seen it's a very old constituency.
Yeah, 1966.
1966 after independence, they are the most initial constituencies in our country.
Yes.
And one MP, especially after the second election, 1966 there, he managed to be an MP for, I think, 1, 2, 3, and 4 times. Simeon Arap Choge.
Yeah, and I think Choge is like a very, very common name there.
Yeah, it's very common.
There's a lot of Choge.
Yeah, then we have several Choges there.
I think maybe Emmanuel must also maybe be having this name. We'll find.
There is this lady called Dr. Sally Kosgei.
Dr. Sally Kosgei,
who I think is one of the most people who have taken a high-profile position in the country from that constituency. He was the prominent head of civil service during Moi's time.
Yeah, during Moi's time, sure.
And he went to do some politics there and managed to clinch a seat as a member of parliament.
Served for 1 term.
Yes.
I think recently it's become very, very competitive compared to the past. Because you see, initially it's like maybe an MP would even go for 3 terms.
Yes.
But as we continue, it is like now the politics there is quite very, very competitive. And if you have to go for 2 terms, then you must be doing very well.
And even Marian Kaitani
is Marian
also very popular.
Exactly.
In other quarters.
Absolutely. That is Know Your Constituency. Special dedication to Manuel Kipsa, one of our cameramen. And now we can look at our leadership quote for today. Our leadership quote for today. And this is how it reads. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. It may get tough, but it's a small price to pay for living a dream. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. It may get tough, but it's a small price to pay for living a dream. This is by Peter McWilliams.
It's not easy to achieve your dream.
Exactly.
It's not a bed of roses when you're going through your dream.
Yes.
It's not a smooth road. Sometimes it's smooth, Sometimes it's hilly.
Sometimes bumpy.
It's rocky.
Yes.
It's bumpy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you have to be ready to be comfortable as you're achieving your dream.
Exactly.
And sometimes uncomfortable.
Yeah. And when you're finding yourself in an uncomfortable situation, be comfortable about. Be comfortable.
Right.
I think that's where we bring it to a close for today. Thank you so much for making time to be with us. That has been a very, very nice and candid discussion on the Tvet revolution. We have an entire team making this a success behind the scenes. On behalf of them, my name is Mangicho Mola. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
And thank you for your time on Leadership Wednesday. I'll be right back here on Friday, God willing, for Men Matters Friday. Paul Kag is my name. A blessed day ahead.